first one is being led by Joe Vergunst from the University of Aberdeen. It's called Heritage.
He's dead!
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
he's been shot through the head. You shot him!
There's a telephone.
Telephone?
If you want to call the police.
A few minutes, one way or the other, won't make any difference. I'd like to know a little more. Agatha Christie's The Unexpected Guest arrives at the scene of the crime to find the murderer, the apparent murderer, standing over the victim. But he helps piece together an alternative past to what the audience might expect. And in doing so, he actually sheds new light on the present as well. But in the play, of course, one unexpected event merely leads on to another, which for fans of Agatha Christie is not itself, of course, entirely unexpected. But the past, it seems, is very much open to the persuasion of the unexpected, the unpredictable, that which we didn't think would happen. A plot twist, a new voice from the past or the present, a surprise event. So what we would like to do in this workshop is take some inspiration from the play, The Unexpected Guest, to think about the relationship between perhaps what was planned, what we thought would happen in our heritage research, our activities in this field, and what actually happened. And it might be in terms of the process of carrying out the research and the people that are involved and the places that are involved. And it might be in terms of the content, something that happened which was not expected, that was found out about, that the past was not quite what it seemed in first appearances. So while it's a truism, of course, you know, we always know that good research turns up the unexpected somehow. But what I'd like everyone to do, what we would like people to do, at least an invitation, if you would like to follow us with it, is actually think a little bit about the role of the unexpected, of that which we didn't quite intend, perhaps, or we weren't quite anticipating during, you know, and perhaps following heritage research. So our rationale for getting into this has been a project that we've been working on, at least myself and Colin, and Jenny has been associated as well, and a number of other people around the room as well, funded by Connected Communities to look at the legacies of heritage research. And we've been doing this from an open-ended, kind of processual, relatively sort of unstructured format to allow projects to tell their own stories and to begin to value aspects of their work which perhaps don't easily fall within the parameters of easily auditable outputs. So if you would like to accept the invitation of the unexpected guest, then there's some tasks that you can carry out. The first thing that we would like everyone to think about is just maybe individually, or you know, if you're working with a project partner who's here, then that's also fine. But can you just spend maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes thinking about your own tale of the unexpected, your own story of something that's happened in your research which was just not what you were thinking was going to happen. I want that starting point then to be that starting story to then lead into a bit of group work, and I'm going to put some questions to help direct some conversation in groups as well. But the sort of starting point for some group conversation, I think, would be nice for people to be sharing, to be comparing their stories of the kinds of things that have happened to them, to their projects, to their ideas of the past, their activities in the present, their ideas of heritage, which were not that which was first expected, where things were not quite as they first appeared once the actual process came to happen. So, if that roughly makes sense, then, as I say, maybe take a few notes, start to think about just on your own, or with the person who's been working with you, if you want to, and then then we can arrange some groups in just a few minutes. So take maybe 3 minutes, 5 minutes, just to be thinking about, can you come up with an interesting story, with an engaging story, perhaps with a twist if you want, and there might yet be a twist towards the end of what we're doing here as well. So I'll go by the clock as well. So 3 minutes or so.
New projects, I think there's less opportunity for unexpected things because you've got so much to do in such a short time. Unless it all goes wrong. So one big project
Find things out that you didn't quite expect to find out in terms of the way in which the groups we work and the way in which just their views have changed a little bit. Serendipitous, like things in different parts of
I anticipated we'd be discussing issues of difficulties the challenges have been.
People clearly got the chance straight away, but what I would like people to do maybe is go from the sort of specific stories of unexpectedness into some slightly broader questions, if you can. I'll read them or try and make them a bit bigger on the screen if you like. But the first one is, what kind of unexpected events derail heritage research and which can push it forward? Secondly, how flexible and responsive can co-produced heritage research be to the unexpected? And then how can we value the unexpected, both in terms of the content and the process of research? So that's an invitation now to go from the stories into thinking about the idea of the unexpected a bit more generally. So should we say 10 minutes or so on this, and then it would be nice to get some feedback or flavour of stories or discussion with the whole group from that. Okay? Well, if anyone's not in a group, please connect up with a group.
Maybe we also have an issue with consultancy develop a So maybe this is something we should expect.
come and go, especially post.
No, user groups. Our family history user groups. We're have strong feelings that we respect.
You came up with things that they weren't.
It was quite discursive,
Have you had that as well when your people left or somebody always sort of stepped into
so you're working with them to
so there's always will be somebody that needs to
so there was, but it became complicated because you're having to rebuild the relationship with
whereas you're
I think because the person left did make an effort to keep in touch, but it did mean rebuilding and finding another person on an everyday basis.
so whereas you were dealing directly with
Whereas in Sheffield it was directly dealing. So on the Sheffield community groups, there's been a more direct university community group dealing with them in Nottingham. It's just slightly complicated.
yeah. And did anybody from the Sheffield group leave? So did you know that's
You interact more and get to know people more. They see you differently. So it's difficult to know whether one thing because they were so upset at what they were seeing. But we reported this back to the people who run the mills, and that then led to us getting involved in
Right, I think we should gather back together.
which they usually there to motivate, so it had that positive.
really positive, yeah.
But it was through a really negative thing.
Okay.
Great to hear lots of chat going on. That bit wasn't unexpected, but I would like to. I'm sure we would all like to get a flavour of some of the other conversations that have been going on around the room. So this can be a sort of informal sort of feedback thing, and if someone wants to come back to a point that gets made, that's completely fine. But it would be nice to get a sense of most or all of the conversation. We've got about 5 minutes to do it in, so it's not going to be big diatribes, but some senses. I'll bring back those questions to remind us. No, it's not going to come back. Okay, so can we start over here from Colin's group and etc. Can we have a sense of what the chat was?
Yeah, shall I go? Yeah, but basically it was looking at potential derailments, and there's an interesting problem that cropped up here when one of the leaders of the community group that were being dealt with left. And there was nobody in the community group that was willing to actually step back into the breach and act as a leader for that community group. So actually getting decisions made and passed was sort of an unusual sort of problem there. Another instance where an unfortunate event at a visit which involved a particular volunteer becoming upset, leaving the group. But the long-term effect turned out quite well when the institution then got in touch with the place that was being visited, and the new set of procedures were put in place to sort of alleviate the problem. And so again, so it's a positive.
These sort of social relationships are always unexpected, aren't they? Because we never know quite how they're going to continue, even if we feel we have trust or we feel we have a good connection or something. Then they can change. They change every day. They change in the whole process of having a social relationship, don't they? That's always going to be important. Options are, if anyone would like to respond to that issue directly from the conversation that they've had, we can do.
We had
okay.
a couple here, Larry and Hunter, both commented about individual people who, in the sense, put the shutters up and kind of refuse to engage, who are still key people in the projects that they've been involved in.
Is that unexpected? I mean, somehow we know that people are going to be like that in a way, but we always have to respond to the situation when it happens, don't we?
In your case, it's quite. In the case I was talking about, we were recording a World War I memorial, and it just so happened that one of the group participants recognised the name that was on the memorial, and that, oh, that's my friend's grandfather and so on. And so she went and interviewed him, but we asked for, she apparently recorded it and so on, but that is not to be passed on to us. And we just left it. That's fine. That's really not our role, actually, we feel. But that was unexpected because we didn't set out to have that genealogical link, I suppose.
Okay, Leanne.
We had a similar problem with a council leader who wouldn't come to a Stonebow event. Stonebow was a big 1960s rugby building. People say it's monstrosity, people would say. There's lots of views about it. But because we had the word inquiry, the council leader wouldn't come to the meeting because of the word inquiry. We changed it to enquiry, and he still refused to come.
We kind of hope that our invitations will be, felt in the generous spirit in which they usually operate, but it doesn't always happen like that. Can we sort of go from there to think about how our understandings of heritage itself or the past, become changed or get diverted because of these kinds of processes or things that have happened in the course of our work? Did that kind of thing come into the conversations at all? Or was that sort of pushing it a bit? Okay.
Can I call this up?
Yeah,
because I'm a member of the group in Sheffield called Friends of League Club, and we got involved with the preparation of this huge item, which is an arc heritage of DPA for Wincannon Kill. It was paid for by Sheffield City Council in anticipation of the Time team. A visit to Sheffield about 3 months before the whole Time team series was cancelled by Channel 4. And that was a big obstacle to us because we were all fired up for a Time team visit. We were expecting to see the man in the cold pullover and our friend Baldwin. We were all expecting those characters to turn up on our piece of ground. And that didn't happen for us. And then we had a second shock. There was a planning application came in on one of the historic sites identified by this document. And so we were all faced in fighting a planning application. And part of the problem with that fight was that the local county archaeology service, South Yorkshire Archaeology Service, didn't accept that the site was in fact a part of the historic area. And we had a problem persuading the councillors that that was in fact the case. And it was only thanks to, dare I say, a proper archaeologist from the University of Sheffield, but we were able to achieve that goal. And also, when there was a planning requirement, also to persuade the planning inspector that we were right and the South Yorkshire Archaeology Service was wrong. So that was an unexpected problem.
Yeah, our very stories of the past get affected by these relationships in the present.
Yeah.
Very much so. I think maybe we've got the opportunity for one more comment if anyone or any one group really wants to convey something from their conversation that would be of interest to everybody, then we can take that briefly if there is one. Okay, then the final word of so part of the idea was actually to get people thinking about stories and narratives as a way of reflecting on the process of heritage, on the past and on the present, and you know the potential and the power of thinking about that through stories and valuing the stories that we can create and that we can share in situations to understand and value the past and the unexpected within that. But in the final dramatic minutes of the play, The Unexpected Guest, we do learn who the real killer was and how the murder actually unfolded. The full story is told, and then the play ends, curtain falls. Our twist, I think, is that the story doesn't actually end. In the kind of research we've been hearing about, it's about opening up new questions or new possibilities. So the past as heritage or culture doesn't finish with a curtain fall, a denouement like a whodunit does. But the tension, of course, is that the funding, I tend to think, does follow the structure of the whodunit, where everything will be resolved neatly at the end of the funded period. But heritage, of course, doesn't do that. So that's the end of the workshop. Thank you for your participation.